All right, cool. Now we are moving on to chapter 11. Again, it's called the development of the self in society. And this is where we looked at the human factors that, the human factors that cause ill health, as well as then the lifestyle factors that impact ill health. And then the lifestyle decisions that will impact your health. So this is the stuff we did recently, so I'm not going to spend too much time because you should remember this, and just read through the stuff. It's a lot of, this part of the work is very much knowledge centered, so it's less about just thumb sucking. So please study this part. Strongly. It was very recent and it's just a lot of just knowing these things. So study it. Don't think you can suck it out of your thumb. So we just spoke about, ill health. What are then human factors that contribute to that? So know that how do accidents contribute to ill health? How do crises contribute to ill health? How do disasters contribute to ill health? And what are these things? Be able to tell the difference. So there was this cool table. You will see, for instance, it's an activity. So it was activity 1 where it asks you to match. That's a good one to practice with. Practice doing that one repeatedly to make sure you know the difference between a disaster, a crisis, an accident. Okay. And for instance, just understanding, why should I know about the human factors that impact one's health? And that is then because our decision making always leads to consequences. There's actions always have consequences. Something started small and then it has a ripple effect. So where we as humans can prevent something from happening, we should try our best, because some things are genetic and some things are out of our control. Okay, so if we aren't able to have a good grasp on the things that we can control, we are often just asking for trouble in our life. So then you continue to the psychological, social, religious, and cultural factors. And there, for instance, we spoke about issues of low self-esteem and peer pressure, how those can contribute towards your ill health. Then I told you about psychosomatic, which again means the real physical symptoms that arise from or are influenced by the mind and emotions, rather than a specific organic cause in the body. Okay, so what does that mean? It's a reminder that our mental health can lead to physical pain. Okay, our mental health, where we're just not okay, can create physical symptoms where we are sick and we go to a doctor and a doctor says, I can't find anything wrong. Or a doctor gives you medicine, but you just don't get better, because it's a psychosomatic issue. It's your brain failing to process a lot of things because you're not mentally okay, and that influences your body. Okay. So that was that. Then social factors, and there we spoke about, for instance, the relationships we're in, the violence we may grow up around, having a parent or a family member who struggles with a certain substance, and their decision leads them to giving birth to a drug-addicted child. We looked, for instance, at fetal alcohol syndrome. You remember that video? That just then shows us how a decision of a parent when they are still pregnant in terms of drinking still can then influence their child forever. Okay, that is a human factor. Then we spoke about religion, and a little bit that how religion, either if you're very religious and believe only in the Bible or only in the Quran or only in your ancestors, it can lead you to not deal with health issues because you believe God or your ancestors or the prophet or whomever is going to be able to fix you, instead of maybe doing both. Just a hint. And then culture. Culture tends to often put a lot of emphasis on preferencing men, and also creating a terrible picture that women are somehow stronger and can just enjoy things, so they often have many hidden health issues as a result of them having the bad luck that they didn't grow up with a penis. Imagine, Imagine. Good. So again, why does all of that matter? And I just said to you again, the quality of your life is strongly affected by the state of your health. Okay, if we neglect our health, we cannot really have a future we can trust. Okay, because we may get sick, we may always be sickly, we may be spending money on just staying alive instead of enjoying our lives because of decisions we took when we were young. Okay, so activity 2 also, that is on page 194, will really help you unpack that. So that is the first part of the things you need to study from chapter 11. Then the second unit then spoke a lot about lifestyle diseases. So again, it's just important to remember that concept I told you, that we are starting to realize that diseases of lifestyle are probably going to be what kills people the most, which is crazy, right? Imagine that. And this drawing here, or this picture, I told you guys, please make sure that whatever you do, know this thing, so that you understand that the things at the bottom of the tree where the roots are, they are the roots that grow into things like obesity, thyroid issues, hormonal imbalance, hypertension. Okay, so this is you reap what you sow. And likely in this tree, do you see any leaves? There are no leaves, okay? Because the things that you will reap from things like smoking, drinking, all of you guys who do lean, we know who you are, and you keep getting away with it. And I'm sad that we didn't ever catch you, because clearly you think the only time you must change is if you are caught. I'm sorry, and I really hope you fix your life. Sorry, I'm not even sure they'll see it. If you see this and you know who should be seeing this, please tell them to whatever. Sharp. So this picture is a good example. If there's anything you just try and memorize, is the concept that lifestyle diseases or diseases of lifestyle are based on what did I plant, what are the roots of my actions, and what will the roots create, what will I reap from what I've sown. Okay, look at that. So we spoke a bit about the cancer, so just know what is the cancer that affects women the most and men the most, and the whole journey in terms of dealing with it. Okay, then I shared some statistics. You don't really need to know statistics, but you must just know what are the prevention measures that one can do, what are the treatment measures that one can do if you end up having cancer, and what are the lifestyle changes we can make to try and decrease the chances of us getting cancer. Okay. Then heart-based issues, again, just know what are the big heart-related issues that people get and what causes it. And we know what causes a lot of our heart issues, our blood clots and things like that. Just know that from your textbook. Know what really affects whom and what are the suggested changes that one can make. And then we spoke a lot about TB. Your textbook will also talk a lot about TB. Please know the TB thing. It looks like with the LO, they're obsessed with TB. So just know TB, no AIDS are like this. Not because they cause one or the other, but because the textbook likes to ask about that, because it affects a lot of people. Okay, so really, really know what are some of the things one can change in their life when these things happen to them. Okay, so solutions for TB, and then know how do diseases of lifestyle or lifestyle diseases affect one according to your gender, because there is a profound difference in how gendered these diseases can be and who ends up being affected by it. Then you remember we spoke about sex. Some of you were touched and some of you wanted to be touched. Okay, sorry, bad joke. But we didn't then spend a lot of time discussing preventative measures for STIs. So please study that part. Like I told you, TB, no AIDS. So HIV is always going to be the classic STI that people discuss or even ask you about. So please know what are the preventative measures, what are the things we can do to ensure that we protect ourselves. Even know about abstaining, okay? But know more than just abstaining. Know about the different condoms, the different contraceptives that can also prevent the other STIs. You remember we spoke about the different ones that exist and how one can get it, okay? Then activity 4 and 5 will help you get grips with this part because it's very, very important. This stuff they will easily ask because it's easy to mark. And in this era of COVID, I'm giving you another hint, okay? It's not in your textbook, but if I know LOL, there might be a COVID question in there, okay? So also just know your COVID theory much better than you were practicing it, okay? So that quiz we did on COVID, I'll probably put it up again, just go over it a couple of times, be able to answer those questions accurately. Don't do what you did, which was say nonsense and I had to forgive you and give you some sort of marks. Okay, good. Then the final part in this, we didn't spend a lot of time in class on it because it's very self-explanatory. And it's this part here. It will start from page 207. It's the unit 4, the commitment to participate in physical activities for long-term engagement, develop an action plan. So the idea there is you're trying to commit to living a life that honors exercise, that checks one's diet so that you are much healthier, okay, than you've been growing up as, then you've been observing your own parents or your own family living as, because yes, our terrible lifestyle diseases are based on the lives we are living, you know, depending on where we live, our culture, the food of our family, the budgets that our families have, we will tend to have certain diseases or be vulnerable to certain diseases. So that part in J is just going to talk about how will you make commitments that will benefit you emotionally, socially, mentally, and physically. Table 11.2 has like some ideas of physical activity or things you could do. So look at that, and then there are little case studies of and then each time I always saw that, I was like, how gogo bantu sakazokaba nebola bakithi, you know. And then look at 4.2, where then you start to develop that plan. Activity 8 gives you a cool little guided activity to try and develop your own plan. Do that activity, then you'll be fine. You would have covered that. Okay, hamba nofunda.